Dawn really inspired me. We had a call together and I just loved her energy and I loved her confidence. She knows who she is, she knows what she wants, and she's going to share more about that in her presentation. She's the founder of Dawn Bates International Ltd. She's an author, a coach, an activist, and a publisher. Let's welcome Dawn Bates. Hi, Dawn.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me here today, and nice to meet you all.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing a back-to-back. That's hard to do. So.
Oh, well, if you want to get things done, you've got to get them done. You can't just sit back and watch Netflix, can you?
We're going to give you your 15 minutes now, and we'll come back and chat with you afterwards. So enjoy.
Okay. Well, just so that you all know, this is going to be the first time that I have ever presented on this platform. So just bear with me as I figure it all out. I think I've got it. But just as I figure it all out, I'll just give you a little bit of background on me. Like Megan, I've been traveling the world nonstop, but I've been doing it for 7 years and I've been into some of the most dangerous places on the planet. I'm going to share screen. It's asking me for 2 monitors. You're having a laugh because I don't do 2 monitors. I might just cancel it and just go with this. So I have been traveling nonstop around the world for the last 7 years. I speak multiple languages, including Arabic, Spanish, and Portuguese. I've lived and worked in 44 countries now, and I have 20 international bestsellers to my name, either as a solo author, some of them as a co-author, but predominantly as a, like I said, solo author. I hate bullies. I cannot stand them. And one of the reasons why I write the books, the kind of books that I do, and one of the reasons why I'm an activist is simply and purely because I want to help people who want to get ahead in life, but I just want to be able to make the world a better place. And I know that sounds like quite a utopian view. But one of the things that we can do, I heard a quote recently and I shared it in the show just before, was that when we recover loudly, we keep others from dying quietly. Now, when we write a book, one of the things that happens is that we have to get very clear on what it is that we believe and what it is that we're feeling. Now, if we're going to write that we think a certain thing about a certain situation, and we do not follow that train of thought and that logic across to other situations, then we're actually we're not in alignment. We're not thinking clearly. And we have, sometimes when I write, when my clients write things down, we get stopped because like, oh, if I think that about that, and I'm applying that logic to that, but I'm not applying the logic to that. Oh, that's not good. Okay. And it makes you rethink everything, or it should do if you're doing it properly. Now, when I work with my clients, my clients are either writing a book for brand expansion, they're writing a book for philanthropy, they are wanting to help people overcome things, because we all know that there are people out there in the world that cannot afford coaching, they cannot afford therapy, or they cannot afford the educational courses. Thank you very much. If we could focus on the 7-week author page, that would be great. Now, all of the books that I write, they have, that I publish, are to do with a human rights, social justice, or a cultural cohesive message, because I believe that when we focus on the diversity, and we keep talking about how we're different, that is all that we're seeing. But when we actually look at how we are so similar, and the ways in which we can create a cohesive community, then we actually start working together. We can keep focusing on differences, or we can focus on what brings us together. Food is always a good start. Who doesn't like food? And music and dance and sitting around a table, enjoying all of that, or dancing around and just having a great time. Now, as you will see from the support that I'm getting here from Jacqueline, thank you very much. I've broken my website into various aspects. I've got the writer section, I've got readers, I've got activists, I've got the listeners and the viewers. There's a dose of dawn. We're about to launch that because I've written for many magazines over the years, and all of my magazine articles will actually be being put on there, as well as a few more, because I'm realizing that a lot of what I've got to say and the way I think, having seen the world through the lens of 44 different countries across 5 continents, I see the world in a very different way to most people. And I am probably not very British in a lot of ways, although I do like a cup of tea at 4 o'clock. I often say I should come with a trigger warning and that people should be prepared to be offended, which I make no apologies for. Because when we have to relearn our history through the lens of another country, and we're going deep into some of the most dangerous places on the planet, which I have been doing, studying human trafficking, studying government corruption, studying media manipulation, and you end up writing about them, not everybody likes it. Not everybody wants to, they say they want to learn about the world, but then they go, oh, have you got a link for that? No, I haven't. I've got 34 years worth of study. You can go find a link, but most of them you can go and read my books, which you will find on the dawnbates.com/readers. Now, I am a great believer that through writing, we can heal ourselves and the planet. We can heal other people through reading. And when we consider that books, on average, are read by four different people, that's a huge ripple effect. So when we share our journey, when we share our learnings, and we do it for the goodness of helping other people, not just for profit, that will come, we actually get to make a very big difference in this world. We're here to support and help each other, not just ourselves. So one of the things, there are many different ways I help authors. I do it through developmental editing. So I'm looking at their manuscript and I'm looking at it. How is this book or how is this manuscript serving the author? Are we looking at additional product spectrums for them? Are we looking at how they're marketing? How are we getting them onto podcasts or TV shows? How are we getting them into press? What kind of events can we do for them? And we're looking at how, when we're developing the manuscript, I'm looking at research with my clients. I go deep down that rabbit hole. I do love a cup of tea, and I love cup of teas with Alice. Love, love, love. And I have got 26 years worth of entrepreneurial background. So not only am I looking at a manuscript for my clients, oh, am I going to make money as a publisher? With this, it's like, how is my client going to make money as a publisher, as an author? Because I don't take any royalties from my clients. I don't own their copyright. I'm their guardian. I encourage them to build entrepreneurial skills because we are effectively building a product. And if you're going into the realm of building a product, marketing, you need to be an entrepreneur. So with my coaching, you're not just getting writing coaching or book coaching. You're not just getting business coaching or leadership coaching. You're getting life coaching. That's why it's called author coaching. And there are lots of people out there that say that they're an author coach or that they're a publisher, but most of them have never written a book. And until they've written a book, can they really truly understand what it's like to go through that writing process? I say no. And I've been building my author academy so that I can help other people, because it's your journey. It's not my journey, it's your journey. Your life is different to me. Your wants, hopes, and desires are different to mine, and your trauma journey is different. As we've just heard from Robert there, his journey has been incredibly challenging, as has mine, in very different ways. I was never a biker. I do like motorbikes, but I've never been a biker. I have been in the ganglands. I have been followed by the secret police of Egypt, and I have been banned from certain countries. That's what happens when you write certain things that governments don't like. I help people to publish their way at their own pace, because there are some books that will be published not for profit, not for a massive audience, but just to kick imposter syndrome out the door. There are lots of people that work with me on their books that nobody will ever hear about, because those books will never be published, because that manuscript that they're writing is for their own healing journey. There are others, such as the Man Up book that we just published with the British charity Tough to Talk, which is all about reducing male suicide. Because as we know, some of us know, 133 men across the North America and Britain, North America excluding Mexico, so Canada, the US and Britain, 133 men commit suicide every single day. So my mission as a mum of 2 boys, as a single mum of 2 boys, was to actually tap into and learn about the reasons why men commit suicide. Sorry, not commit suicide. We're not allowed to say commit suicide anymore because of the connotations with that. Take their own life by suicide. And so we wrote this book. We got a collection of 20 men to share their stories, and all the royalties from this book go to Tough to Talk, which you can find at toughtotalk.com, or you can go to dawnbates.com/toughtotalk. There are a menopause book that I wrote with 10 other people, and all of the proceeds from that book go to women's menstrual charities around the world to help women and young girls learn more about their menstrual health, as well as generating lots of reusable sanitary protection that they can wash and reuse, because they don't have the resources or the money to pay for it. So when we're looking at authorship, we need to actually look at what the bigger picture is. That's the kind of publisher that I am. That's the kind of author coach I am. It's also the kind of woman that I am. As you can hear, as Madeline, Dr. Jacqueline said, I am confident. And it took me a long time to get to this. It wasn't overnight. And I am very, very passionate about helping other people own their power. And whether we're doing it through anthologies, whether we're doing it through single books, whether we're writing it through fiction, everything we do is about supporting other people. So if you'd like to know more about how I can help you, or somebody that you know should be writing a book, then visit dawnbates.com and let's see how we can make the world a better place through literature. Thank you.
Oh wow, Dawn Bates, honestly, that was just absolutely commendable in every way. I mean, the fact that you're activist and you've been over 44 countries, 5 continents, and been in really extremely highly life endangering situations. It's incredible. I find it just amazing. Well,
I mean, I could sit there and read books that other people have written, or read their research, but when you're there on the ground and you're in the heart of the Amazon looking at human rights trafficking, human trafficking, or you're in the slums and looking at drug cartels and finding out what's actually really going on, you're actually speaking from a different level of authority. And I think that makes a big difference to your own understanding and your own credibility.
Thank you for that. Robert Moore or Ian, do you have any questions to put to Dawn?
I was just going to say, I used to be an investigative journalist at one time, and so the work that you're doing, Dawn, is very, very important. I was working with Hezbollah and was in Beirut last year as well, looking to see what was really causing all these problems. So I get you from that. But probably
تتكلم عربي?
Sorry?
تتكلم عربي? You speak Arabic?
I don't speak Arabic. No. I obviously, and I had a team of bodyguards, the whole bit, going into Hezbollah territory. But the one that always I remember really making a difference with was that when Ceausescu was president of Romania, he used to kill all the street children in Bucharest, and he had killing squads every night going out, and any children that came out of the orphanages, because the orphanages wouldn't look after the children at night, they threw them out into the streets, and he would shoot them. He would get them killed. And so the only way that we could try to stop this was that we go and talk to these kids. So these kids lived in the sewers of Bucharest,
Yeah.
Now this is a time of HIV happening, the whole thing happening as well. And we were told that we're going to go into the sewers of Bucharest to actually interview these kids. I was just with an ITN cameraman and just one light. You know, we weren't allowed to light it or anything at all. And
yeah, very similar to when we were in Egypt and we saw the Rabat massacre happening.
Yeah, and so basically,
CNN. Sorry.
Yeah, and basically, you know, we were walking through this tunnel, and it was, you know, it's the only time I think I've ventured into hell, because we were told don't let anybody touch your hands because they might have HIV, and these hands were coming out of the wall, and these kids were living in the smaller sewers as well. So, and we managed to stop it. That was the biggest thing. We created such a furore that we managed to stop it at the same time. So that type of work is so important.
Thank you. And I think this is the thing, once we can be afraid, or we can listen to the media about how a lot, because I think a lot of, I don't know about yourself, Ian, but I find that a lot of people confuse poverty with danger. Just because certain areas are poor doesn't mean to say that they're dangerous areas. And I think that when we actually look at why a lot of the places that are dangerous, why are they dangerous? Have they been has the infrastructure allowed it to be dangerous? Like researching human trafficking in Canada, looking at how the Canadian government has built an infrastructure or lack of infrastructure to actually keep people down, to keep people poor, to keep them uneducated, and to keep them isolated. And how the transport system, they come over from Europe across the North Sea, from places like Ukraine and Georgia. They get put on one of those freight trains in Halifax, shuttled across the whole of Canada with no stopping, no passport checks. They're off through the Bering Sea into Asia, or they're straight down the Pacific coast, down into the Amazon. You know, people don't consider Canada as a human trafficking hotspot, but it absolutely is. And it's quite dangerous. And some of the places I was in Canada, I was like, okay, I really shouldn't be here. But again, if I can handle the ganglands of Latin America and the deep darkness of the rivers of the Amazon, I'm pretty sure that I can handle most places now. And I've lived through the Egyptian uprising, civil war, and, you know, just walk in the park these days, unfortunately, in some ways.
Dawn, a great presentation that you shared. Very powerful and inspiring. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate you.